Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Ross Johnston. The Minnesota Vikings and Chicago Bears wrapped up Week 1 in the NFL last night in Chicago, with Minnesota taking the win 27-24, and quarterback J.J. McCarthy putting up 3 second-half touchdowns after a first-half pick-6 in his NFL debut. In NFL news, the San Francisco 49ers made a pair of moves this morning by waiving kicker and former third-round pick Jake Moody, who missed 2 kicks in Seattle on Sunday, and putting tight end George Kittle on injured reserve as Kittle is dealing with a hamstring injury. The Pittsburgh Steelers also made a move by signing safety Jabril Peppers, who was waived by the Patriots in the preseason this morning, as there are injury concerns with Deshaun Elliott. Also in Titans Week 2 news, the Los Angeles Rams are dealing with injuries at both left guard and right guard, as Steve Avila and Kevin Dotson both suffered ankle sprains and are considered week-to-week per Sean McVay. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once in your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door, 615-737-1045. And we're live from the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports Studio. Kentucky's largest sportsbook can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. And Blaine, we got a lot to get to because we're going to talk about Cam Ward's performance from the film. And from the stats. We're going to talk about the SEC because we didn't get to any SEC talk, and there were some pretty good games from the SEC, some pretty good performances.
You ready to go, Ross, on that?
Let's do it, baby.
Let's do it. I mean, we got all kinds to talk to. Of course, we got Coach Mack at 220. The coordinator spoke today, but they didn't stream it. Luckily, Easton and A to Z Sports were there, so we got a few audio clips because we heard Denard Wilson. You had to follow the guys on Twitter, all the reporters on Twitter. But we heard Denard Wilson talk about L'Jarius
I waited 15 minutes, and then I was like, that's done. I went to the Titans thing. I was listening to Buck. I'm like, they nuts and bolts me.
Yeah,
man,
I got into the car. Like, I didn't know that they weren't on. I knew that they were on, but I didn't know they were streaming.
I went back to my email. I was like, man, maybe I got this wrong.
And I got in Buck's car, and they're talking. I'm like, well, did Denard Wilson not talk? And then they said... And then Buck ended up saying, and Lucas ended up exchanging that they never streamed it. He got a text that they didn't stream it. And
then the follow-up should have been like, why?
Yeah, well, I think he did. But I don't know if he ended up saying why or why not, but I'm sure he probably got some lame
I think I know why, because Bert said they don't say they love him.
They don't say they love him when he says it first.
So no love is given.
There you go. There you go. Well, I'll tell you what. Looking at the scoreboard, LSU for the SEC games. We'll start there first, just real quick.
But they didn't give us anything for the? Did you find out anything?
We got a little bit, and we'll play those later. Okay. Ross is going to get those clips all clipped up and get them all ready, because also Dan Orlovsky had about a 2 minute 30-second clip of breaking down Cam Ward, because again, that's why we're going to talk about stats versus film, because I think this is a very good case to say stats and film do not line up. The Cam Ward's performance.
Not all the time. It's a good gauge sometimes, but it just, you got to watch the game too. You can't
because
just
that's what I did yesterday. I went through and I did the same for Femi this morning, but we're going to talk about him maybe tomorrow or the next. But I did Cam Ward yesterday morning. I didn't even bother looking at the stats because I just knew the stats weren't going to paint an appropriate enough picture for us to really have good talking points from it.
Right.
Other than you get let down by your team, your stats are going to probably look a little bit different. Now, that's not the case every week, because, we can go back and talk about Will Levis, but we're focused on the now and the future.
But even if you look at those stats, you go, well, he still didn't play right. But you look at this game, you go, hey, man, Cam's the dude.
There are 2 or 3 stats that could really actually tell you the story.
Oh, I'd love to hear from you what they are.
That is good. That's for later. Ooh. So next segment. LSU barely beats Louisiana Tech 23-7. Just want to put that out there, because this is the game that's typically blowouts, right? This is the game that's typically blowouts. 28-6, Georgia versus Austin Peay, 28-6. 38-7, Texas versus San Jose State. And to be honest, while Arch Manning did look good, there were a lot of punts and still an interception there. A lot of
Did
punts.
you see the video? I don't know if it's true. You guys tell me. Someone is kind of saying that he has a hurt shoulder, and that's why he's throwing the sidearm. And they showed him squinting, like, throwing the ball.
They're allegedly saying he doesn't.
He winced bad after throwing like a dig over the middle, just slinging it.
What?
And they're allegedly saying he doesn't have a hurt shoulder, but I don't know. Sure looks like, unless he just makes that face every time he throws.
Because I just saw that on one throw.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I didn't watch the game. So I'm like, was he wincing on all throws?
I have no idea.
I mean, they didn't show his face, but we know that one.
Didn't
It was like right when he released it, you could just see his face.
Maybe that's just his throw face. Maybe that just is, I mean, Eli Manning had a weird face, right? I mean, maybe it's just genetic.
True, but okay, did we see any other throws? Was he wincing like that, man? Good Lord, I don't remember that, man. Oh, man, I hope that is not true.
South Carolina 38-10 versus South Carolina State. Mississippi State versus Arizona State. Mississippi State has already doubled their win total from last year, and they took down 12th-ranked Arizona State with a few pro prospects on that team. And I said this would be a good gauge to see.
You did.
What this
I knew
SEC,
I love that quarterback.
24-20. What a good, and that was a really good game, by the way. If you guys didn't watch it.
I would have picked Arizona State all day, and them cowbells rose to the cage,
Yeah. What about South Florida versus Florida? 18-16. You know that Florida was favored by 17.5 points going into the game, and I took South Florida because I saw South Florida play last week.
You did.
And they were good against Boise State, and I was like, and I saw Florida kind of, not look great.
Mm-hmm.
And I just couldn't believe it. This was a wild game,
when them
too.
Florida boys play other Florida boys, especially when you go to,
That's what you said.
I say, hey, man, all bets are off.
Yeah.
Because some of those guys like, hey, man, they didn't even recruit. I know I'm better than you.
Yep. I mean, that was an interesting game, and now I kind of wish I would have just took the South Florida money line. But I looked at that game, I was like, I'm putting that in all my parlays for sure.
Should we start a parlay for?
No, because everybody will lose money.
Track how good he is.
Everybody will lose money. Maybe I'll give you my best bet.
I'm no good.
Maybe I'll give you my 5 best bets.
Okay, your 5 best.
Not a parlay, but Zach's best
they
bets.
will all be
Friday.
Titans unders.
Every
They'll all
Friday.
be Titans unders and Titans lose.
Every Friday, Zach's best bets.
I'll do that. I'll look at those. I can
Every
do
Friday.
that. I'll do Zach's best bets.
Chalk it up.
I'm not doing a parlay because I'll tell you this. You'll lose money on all my parlays. I rarely win parlays.
Do not listen to anything I say about betting.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Oklahoma and Michigan, I thought lived up to the hype. I thought it was a good battle between the two teams. Now, listen, Michigan was outmatched. They have an 18-year-old quarterback, but he still made some throws and kept them in it. I mean, they ended up going into the fourth quarter 21-13 up Oklahoma, but Oklahoma is just, they're good. They're not the Oklahoma of last year, everybody. Let me tell you that much.
Right. So I thought this would be a win for Tennessee. After watching that quarterback, Mateer is his name,
John
transferred
Mateer.
from Washington State.
Heisman favorite currently, if I'm not mistaken.
Is he the real deal?
I tried to tell everybody I thought he was the real deal. Now, you're coming to Oklahoma to the SEC, which is entirely different than being at Washington State. But I was like, he's one of those quarterbacks.
Came from.
That's what I'm saying. He's kind of like Cam Ward in the sense of it's either going to be a breathtaking throw or something like that. He's going to make some plays with his legs and keep looking down the field, or he's going to throw some kind of crazy interception that you may not expect. He's just a fun quarterback to watch.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was he ranked coming out?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Only reason why I asked that is because, with the Aguilar and Nico and to Mateer to here, I mean, there's, quarterbacks. You don't know if they can go through progression reads and how quickly they can develop. They could have better arm talent. Will Levis, better arm talent than Cam Ward, better athlete than Cam Ward, as I've been saying the whole time. Doesn't mean he's a better player.
3-star athlete, quarterback 124 as a prospect coming out of high school. He was as a transfer, he was a 4-star. He was the third best quarterback as a transfer before he transferred to Oklahoma State when he entered the transfer
but third best once they show he proved at Washington State that he was really good. But coming out, he was a 4-star and was ranked where, like in the middle of the teens or somewhere. coming out. I don't know where
Guess
he was.
who the number one quarterback in the transfer portal was?
Who was it?
Nico Yamaliota.
Yeah.
Nico.
That doesn't tell you the whole story. And Nico didn't have having a great game.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Yeah. Texas A&M beat Utah State 44-22. Keep an eye on Cassius Marsh, who is the edge rusher down there. He, unlike most edge rushers at Texas A&M that we've seen, he's getting sacks.
Oh,
he's looking pretty good. Yeah, keep an eye on some edge rushers here. You
said the other guy was sorry, Stuart. I think he got a sack the first week.
I don't know if he got a sack, but he did look pretty good, I have to say. Ole Miss versus Kentucky, 30-23. Kentucky gave them everything that they could handle.
What does Kentucky have on them? I watched some of this game, and I was like, why do they always give Lane Kiffin issues? And I don't know if it's because they have they always have good secondary players. Regardless of who their DB coach is or not, I'm like, man, these guys look really good. So I don't know if it's because they can play man-to-man a la like how Georgia can play man-to-man versus Tennessee. Yeah. And it kind of eliminates a lot of stuff. So, man, they always take them down to the wire because Kentucky beat them at Ole Miss last year. And I think that really kept Ole Miss from being in the conversation of anything that whole year looking back on the season. You remember that?
I mean, it's just kind of crazy, right? Like there's some teams, some games where they just got your number. Alabama 73-0 on the University of Louisiana Monroe. So they came out and did what they were supposed to do. Means nothing to me about Kalen DeBoer right now.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, did it change anything or make you feel a little
I'm just
comfortable?
saying, unlike other teams that play like, let's say, East Tennessee State, they were able to hold their opponent scoreless.
Oh,
because the next game,
trying to throw the shots there.
Tennessee 72-17 against East Tennessee State. I mean, you couldn't hold them scoreless.
I don't know. That was on the backups.
That's on the backup.
So the backups.
I am kidding. I am kidding.
No, you're not. Do not believe
Trust
him.
me, I'm not believing in Alabama to beat Tennessee right now. So
I take a couple of victories here, especially after performance we shall see versus Georgia.
Yeah, that will be interesting. And Ryan Shumpert, our friend, we'll see if we can have him on this week because I know we have an around the SEC guy coming on this week. I'm gonna try to get him on too because he put up some stats today on Twitter that did not paint the Tennessee passing attack against Georgia in a good light right now. So again, talking about Kentucky and Ole Miss
under the hypo era.
Yeah,
correct?
under the hypo era. Talking about Kentucky, Ole Miss. Some teams just have your numbers no matter what kind of how good you're playing coming into the year.
Well, I think it's because he says you get that cat, and that's what I call man to man. You get that cat, you get that cat. Because at first they tried to like do zone, and then Hyper was lighting them up. Get him. Yeah, you guys can't think out here. Just you can think about that's my man. And once they do that, then they kind of start taking over every time. And I don't know if they have more talent in the secondary like they usually do versus the Tennessee's receiver. So that'll be a heck of a matchup. I think this is one of the times, though. I think Tennessee, of all the times that they could get them, this could be one of the times. What is the spread in this game? Since I'm not a gambler, is it?
I believe it's 3.5 right now.
I think it's gone down, right?
Well, it was at 7, and now a bunch of money is coming on the
Georgia.
ball.
3.5 Georgia right now.
Yeah, ooh.
And it went down from 7 or 7.5.
This may be a time, man. Ooh, it's gonna be a good one.
It will be interesting.
Boy, the city and state will shut down on Saturday.
Missouri beat Kansas 42-31. That was looking like Kansas was going to run away with it after the first quarter. First quarter, the Kansas was up 21-6, and it really thought Kansas was going to run away with it. Missouri just came back, and I will say, as much as Eli Drinkwitz is a weirdo and not very well liked among the other SEC fan bases,
I like him.
He tends to deliver.
I mean, like him, man. He's kind of quirky, but I like him. He's kind of like Beamer to me, just in a different way. I like him. He's kind of a quirky nerd guy talking up there. I like him. I think he'd be fun to play for. But you know what people don't realize? And I know I'm older than everybody pretty much, but is Kansas and Missouri is a big-time rivalry. It used to be within the state there. So that I knew it was going to be a really good game just because of that. I wish there was a way that they could find that they could play a little bit more, but yeah.
They hate each other.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. There's some hatred there. That's like Alabama, Tennessee in the Midwest.
Hey, Zach, what's the deal with Ryan Williams warming up and not playing because of a concussion?
Well, I mean, he's got a concussion. What do you need to know?
Why is he warming up?
Well, I think they're going to try to test it out. I don't know really the concussion rules.
Blaine, if your teammate's out there warming up, you think he's playing in the game? I think he is.
Speaking of somebody got knocked out in the Super Bowl.
University of Louisiana Monroe.
If you have a concuss and going into the game, typically you're probably not warming up. Like I've seen guys start practicing and then the ground feels like it's moving on them.
Yeah.
And they 4 days in and go, man, I thought I was okay until the ground started moving. So maybe he didn't run until warm-ups. I'm assuming it says, I still kind of feel a little lightheaded. So maybe they didn't test him until game time, especially with an opponent like that. Why risk it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Auburn at Ball State, or Ball State at Auburn, 42-3.
Oh, you don't have to whisper that. It's okay.
Arkansas State, 56-14.
They all cleared.
They all cleared. Vanderbilt at Virginia Tech.
Hey, you didn't even let me say we were building or nothing, man.
I didn't know if are they rebuilding? Is that
it's the first year head coach.
Okay. Well, there you go.
That is very true. But we are not. We play somebody this week. Who is it? New Hampshire. I'm afraid we're going to get beat by New Hampshire. FCS. I am really nervous about it.
And finally,
that is not good, man.
Finally, Vanderbilt at Virginia Tech. Woo, boy, Vanderbilt looks kind of scary. 10-0 to start, and then it was 20-10 going into half in favor of Virginia Tech.
And this is when I start listening to it on the radio right here after halftime.
And then they
bought a can of you-know-what
scored 34 points and held them scoreless. What a game and performance by Vanderbilt, who will play South Carolina this week.
Anchor down. Oh, that's going to be a good one.
It's going to be some good football this weekend.
What time is that game?
I'll have to check.
It better not be at the same time as Tennessee, Georgia.
I don't know. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about the Cam Ward film versus stats. We're going to talk about all that is. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. Has the Tennessee Titans performance on Sunday changed your mind? Now, Blaine has a poll out about how many wins you think that Tennessee Titans are going to get now on his personal at @bbishop23 on Twitter.
You retweeted it.
So, yeah, I did retweet it, so you can go to either of our timelines and see it. Don't know if Cover 2 retweeted it. We'll have to grade our producer if he has or hasn't.
Yeah, I'm not loved.
Not loved.
Yeah, thanks, Ross. It's not funny.
So has it changed for you? Has your opinion changed about where this team goes? And I think at first, we'll get to that later. I want to go ahead and get people to vote. But tell of the tape versus the tell of the data the Cam Ward's game on Sunday is such a great example of why you can't just look at one thing. And listen, I'm as big of a proponent of stats and nerds and all this kind of stuff as anybody. But if you were to look at the film, and first off, if you watched the game. Second off, if you then went back and watched the All-22 film, which I did yesterday, I know you have done as well, the stats aren't really going to line up because what you're going to see on these stats is like his EPA. He's 31st in the NFL in EPA, so which is expected points added. Well, he's not expected to add all the points he was expected to add. Didn't get completed. They were dropped. He was sacked.
Because he had 6 drops.
According to what I have read, about 5 drops. Seems to be the average. Now, Orlovsky has said that he has 8 drops. Ooh. So as we're going to get into this stats versus film, and I think because what you saw over the last maybe 24 to 36 hours is Dan Orlovsky come out, Chase Daniel come out, all these guys that are now quarterback film studies that were former quarterbacks talk about the Titans got a dude is the sentiment.
But you don't need to hear them because I said that.
You said it. I said it.
I'm just not a former quarterback.
But here's what Dan Orlovsky had to say on Pat McAfee, because you're talking about you fans love national attention. Mm-hmm. Here's some national attention and love about Cam Ward's performance.
Cam Ward, I just saw you tweet. I saw a couple other guys tweet as well. I didn't watch as much of that game. You look at the stat sheet, look at the box scores. Doesn't look great. I saw a clip, I believe, of his father up in the stands getting pissed off too. What is the number 1 pick, Cam Ward? What does his tape look like?
Yeah, I was like blown away by his tape. I thought his tape looked awesome, dude. Like he throws Tennessee's got a guy. Like Tennessee's got a guy. Like this guy's talent of throwing a football is off the charts. They win the game if they don't have like 8 drops. I counted for that play is awesome. That's like that reminds me of like Joe Burrow-ish type stuff. I just the ability for him to thread the needle on some of the throws and just to cut the ball loose with what he's looking at, I was wildly impressed with. I mean, that defense is awesome. And he made some throws that were, I mean, dude, I got drops on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drops.
His dad has those too.
His dad was catching. He saw all of those. He was sick of him getting up, just going over.
Dude, they win the game.
I mean, the guy ran a 6'1", he caught the ball.
Strepro catch.
Yeah.
Kind of Griff Whaley.
So he cuts it loose, man. He is crazy talented throwing the ball. Now, I'll give you 2 things. Like, yes, there are times when he's got to be like, Cam, you can't take that sack. Like, he takes back-to-back sacks that takes him out of field goal range. He did that in college. He's got to learn from that. He would be my expectation. And there are also some times that he fires the friggin' ball in there. And I'm like, could you have taken a little bit off to help him? He's got the touch. He does. This isn't there's some guys who throw everything as a fastball. That's not that's not the case here. I just did that throw sick. I'm telling you. I mean, he's got. I wish I had B-roll for you guys. He's got 8 drops that you're like, yo, that throw is off the chart.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much the case. Now, like we said yesterday, there's some rookie moments, but really he got failed by the people around him. And some of it was play calling, too, and play design and stuff like that. But if you were to look at the stat sheet, we're talking about a guy with, what was a 42.8% completion percentage rate. That doesn't tell the whole story. The EPA doesn't tell the whole story. Well, I will say, and here's some stats that really do tell the whole story. Okay. He was under pressure 52.9% of his dropbacks. That's the highest in the NFL in week 1. He was The highest drop percentage, 20% of his passes were drops. But he was on target with his throws, the third highest rate in the NFL. 87% of his pass attempts were on target. Can't beat that. Yeah. And they failed him. I mean, essentially, that's what you're looking at. You got not only do you got the loss, and I think everybody that watched the game, everybody in Nashville and beyond that are Titans fans, or maybe even Denver fans. Because I don't know if you heard this, Denver defenders were glowing in the locker room, according to reporters, after the game about Cam Ward. They got him the dude, is what they would say.
Yeah,
and so everybody knows they got him a dude. Now it's up to Brian Callahan to unlock that dude fully, but this is a great example of, if you watch the film, you'll get the actual whole story of who Cam Ward was, who he could be for this Tennessee Titans franchise.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, going back watching all 22, if you want to be real critical, I'm thinking as though I am Cam Ward. And I guarantee you he's going to say, ooh, that one he threw like a rocket to Ridley down the seam. He said, oh, if I would have just took a little bit off of that. That's what he's saying to himself. Yeah. All right, naturally the 2 sacks out of field goal range. But see, there's a part of me, not just the players felt him around him, that conversation, it was a timeout before that, and he should have said, hey, make sure we get rid of the ball. We want to stay in field goal range. Yep. And I will be making calls based off of that. Heads up.
Yeah.
So don't be thinking like I'm going to be trying to throw it around. We trying to make sure we get some points. We got 3 points here. And so those conversations need to be had. That's the type of question I want somebody to ask him, the head coach, did that happen? And did he then still get the sack? Or was he just being a rookie and just, tried to make something out of nothing? And I believe, just like Dan Orlovsky said, is that I don't think he's going to make those kind of same mistakes twice.
Right.
And, man, he made every throw, especially some of those throws outside the numbers. Alec dropped one. Alec made a great catch. Ridley had some drops. They can't have the not running the right play. If I was guessing, I think it was Ridley. I know a lot of people saying it's Chig, but I don't know who it was.
That one was Ridley.
Know. It was Ridley because
I'm fairly certain on that.
Who are you trying to get the ball to? That's what I'm thinking. I'm like,
they motioned Chig, so he
Chig
could go
was
pick
motioning.
up the corner.
So sometimes when you motion, you're supposed to veer back. He didn't veer back.
No, he was going to get the corner.
He went to go block, and so the other guy was it Lockett?
Yeah, I think they were going to cross block.
So
on that play.
That's why I said I think Ridley has some concentration issues at some point.
Yep.
Like mentally, he checks out sometimes because maybe he's still thinking about the previous play or what he should have caught, or dang it, man, I got to be better. I don't know, but man, I we can't have that number one receiver, man.
Let me say this.
The play call for you?
I will remember. Go back to his Jacksonville days, and what was the big complaint from Ridley in Jacksonville was not knowing his assignments and not being in the right place at the right time. And this seems like a big assignment issue. And now, listen, there were plays that he got missed on because of poor pass protection. Yeah, right. Like there's some other big plays, but Ridley should have been is the one that messed up.
I knew it was him, and that's why I think Callahan didn't say. Because it was the number one receiver.
Right. But he's the only guy that makes sense, right? Because it's the only guy that makes sense when you're looking at the plays, that he's the guy that messed up on that play.
Man.
But also,
I don't tolerate
calling a screen pass when you got runs, that
right.
It's like you. That's what's wrong with this game.
It was 3-on-3 though, so they did have if he would have ran the play, it would have been 1-on-1, and he would have got at least 8 yards.
Yeah.
I looked at it, I was like, oh my God, this was as much as I didn't like the play call.
Right. It would have worked.
It would have worked.
Right. Like that's kind of the Brian Callahan experience. And and I know we're just all over the place, but that's okay. I like it.
Just like the Titans.
That's how Ross likes it.
Is that it's like Brian Callahan, his plays can work if everything works perfectly, but if one thing goes wrong, it doesn't work. Whether that's one person that's on the offensive line or it's a receiver, it doesn't work. And other offensive coordinators, it doesn't, and it does with some, but like a lot of the successful offenses don't feel that way. If something breaks down, there's always something to be gained. And with Brian Callahan, it seems like if one thing, it's like it has to be perfectly executed for it to be a good play. And that's not life in the NFL because that's not the horses you got.
Not unless everybody's on the same page. And I remember Cam up there, talk to different receivers, not getting to their spots because he was letting that thing go sooner than, practice or any other time. And he was putting, some heat on it. So, I loved everything I saw about him. His leadership, he was checking plays at the line. I said that yesterday, but, man, it was unbelievable. And he felt calm, cool, customer. Even when the clock was getting down to 3, boom. One time I thought he wasn't even looking at the ball. It came right when he looked. It was great. It was a great snap. So luckily
his anticipation and everything like that.
I was like, man, this guy plays like he has been in the league at least 3 years.
Because I kind of broke down his pass plays into the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, I will say this when I do this. There's also another category called other people's faults. Because, there are plays where you can't judge.
No, he wasn't flawless.
Yeah. Where
sometimes I didn't even like the guy he threw to and he completed them. I was like, but dang, you should have went here.
Well, so I think
coverage.
I think one play that everybody else really likes that I'm not a big fan of is where he threw across his body to Calvin Ridley when they were backed up into their own end zone. It was almost a safety. And that was later on in the game because he rolled out from a good pocket and gave an edge rusher, and then he threw across his body to Calvin Ridley. Now, it's a great throw. I'm glad he can make that throw. But there were other people
right there on that
if
side.
You would have stayed in your pocket.
See, I wonder if that was because that was the design play for
and maybe
Ridley.
It was.
And so because that throw, you saying no, and then you go, oh, dang, that was a good throw.
Yeah. Because do you think, though, and then when you watch it all, you're like, well, maybe you should have stayed in your pocket and not rolled out. At the very least, maybe don't roll out. Because he did bail on a clean pocket. Yeah. And it was almost a safety. That guy was coming down, and so he kind of rolled into it. So, but that's a growing lesson, right? Yeah. To me, that's a quote-unquote bad play, but that is a coachable moment. Because you don't want your quarterback to kind of lean in and throw across the field, across your body, all the way over to Calvin Ridley. You want him to take the guys that are open in front of you because he had 2 or 3 guys open in front of him, especially if you're going to roll out that way. And so, that's a good throw, right? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, learning moment. Learning moment.
That's a, teachable moment.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that makes a statement across the league when they start watching this tape.
That's a good point.
And so because I'm thinking about how I'm watching this tape.
Okay.
And when I was watching, I was like, whoa, this dude can make every throw. I got a whole pad. I can't be cheating on some other plays when I'm watching film on him because this guy, and then he quick releases, and he looked off guys a lot too throughout this game.
He did.
And I was like, and he was throwing the spots. He was like, and bam, right down on that dig. I was like, ooh. Yeah, hey, whether it's him or the quarterback coach, they got him one, man.
They got him one. And I don't think.
And now here's the key, though.
Yeah.
But they can't ruin him now. 6 sacks.
That was going to be my question.
And then 6 again, and then 5 and 4. And now, I know you said the offensive and Moore Jr. and everybody. I didn't really think, and I'm not a guru, I didn't think they played bad. I thought they just played average. And to be based off of how much you're making. So
you're saying they're average, but the defensive line is above average.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that there's sometimes, I didn't think, Moore Jr. played 27%. I didn't see that. I think he may have played 50, 60.
Gotcha.
I mean, sometimes even the sack that he got on him.
Yeah. Which they didn't count, by the way, as a sack on PFF.
Oh, okay. Because that wasn't on him. He had plenty of time to throw the ball.
Which I got to remember which one
that was. And then he
spun.
Cam Ward spun out from a guy from the inside.
Oh,
and then he spun into Moore Jr.'s guy.
Yeah.
And so it was like, oh, dang, that was your sack now. There was times Benito or whoever it was would run right over him and Cam would step up in the pocket. Yeah. It probably would have been a sack. Don't get me wrong. But you're not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
So does he want to play better? Yeah, he got to play better, but it wasn't horrific like I was expecting when I see 27%. Yeah. No, when I see 27%.
You think way worse.
Yeah, gotcha. I was thinking Daly. I didn't see Bryce Daly out there.
Yeah.
I was like, Now what you do see is you say 80 million, we got screwed.
Well, also, remember last year he looked pretty good against Denver, right? So why this year did he look worse?
Well, remember, he didn't practice on Wednesday.
Okay.
Remember, so obviously when you're a big man and you got some lower limb stuff going on, that especially when you're out there and you're that athletic guy like that, big guy like that, and your ankle or something is bothering you, sometimes I'm telling you that. Guess what? This is why some guys don't play at 80%. See? This is why.
Well, that is true. He is a guy that we have seen his 100% is probably B plus.
Right.
So if you're playing at 80%, you're probably at C something.
And once the season starts, this first game, he was hoping he was going to be 100 at least starting the season. That doesn't happen. And I had to learn this the hard way. Look, I would play unless I couldn't run. I didn't care. I was going to play. So I remember this one game, Samari Rowe was like, I said, hey, man, you're not going to play this? He was like, I don't know, man. We got Friday, man. This is Friday, man. Then he looked at me and said, all we do is play mostly man-to-man. I mean, you want to guard Plexico?
Yeah.
and I looked at him like, nah, I don't want to guard Plexico. He said, yeah. So I don't think I'm going to be out there. I said, you about 80 though, right? He said, yeah, probably, but 80 ain't good enough.
Yeah.
So it just kind of depends on your position and what's required of you. Where me, I wasn't required to be playing man-to-man on some, super duper 6'4" athletic wide receiver that can jump over your head. See, so he was going against a really, really good player.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would put him on the elite, but he definitely is a problem. You better address him. So, yeah, I felt like he was a 50% guy.
So maybe when you face the Chargers, this offensive line will look a little bit better. Well, I don't know if
I told you I was super concerned with J.C. Latham.
Yeah,
because
we got to worry about that.
I'm really concerned because Udo, he's not the answer. They were running right around him, and they even put Benito over there, and he just like,
yeah.
I'm like, dang. I mean, now that looked like 20%.
Right.
So I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
It's week 2.
Week 2 already.
Yeah, I'm really
This
concerned.
is the same hip injury he was been dealing with in the offseason, too. So that's that's very concerning.
And so that is concerning with Cam Ward and how you're trying to progress him and develop him, and we can't let him get beat up. Now, I didn't feel like he got beat up in this game.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of pressures that ended in quarterback hits, it felt like.
So I didn't feel like that, but I'm just saying it's just something to watch if it becomes a concern. And
2 of the sacks are on him.
Yeah.
To your point, what we were talking about, the 2 back-to-back sacks, I think, are technically on him, in my mind.
So we're going to see the counter.
Yeah.
Is he going to leave help over there?
Right. That's what they need to do. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. They did this week, they did a lot of Tony Pollard.
Well, we'll talk about the pass rushers they have.
Yeah.
With the Rams, I'm sure you know all of their numbers, Verse and crew. But and see if that'll be something that they'll probably do going into the game.
Because when you start looking at like the ESPN win rates, right? Like how long do you sustain or win your rep within 2.5 seconds? The Titans had a pass rush win rate of 31%. The Rams, who were 15th in pass rush win rate, were 39%. So they weren't that much better than the Titans, whereas like first place was Houston at 53%. So you still got Houston coming down the pipe too. You get what I'm saying? They got a great defense. So you are getting battle tested this week. Now, what can Dan Moore do to improve? What can they do to help whoever may be at right tackle? Because I don't know if you still put Oliudo out there at right tackle, and if J.C. Latham can't go, I don't know.
Timeout. Who else do you have?
You got to call up John Ajuku, your old pencil legs for you.
Oh, man, I don't know. Maybe they thought he was better. That's what I'm seeing. I don't know.
I don't either. I don't get it.
Well, Blaine, the problem, too, is on Sunday, like, they're keeping extra in protection, but they're not giving Cam any check down option. Literally, the last play of the game, we got 3 dudes in routes and 7 in protection. Still a free guy comes in. Like, Callahan's got to mix in more check down safety valve options to help with the protection so Cam can have someone to get rid of the ball to. If everybody's 10 yards plus downfield, it's hard to get rid of that ball quickly.
No, I definitely agree with that. I don't know about maybe at the end of a game, you're probably maxing out because you were down by 8. So you're trying to put everybody out there and try to make a play. But, yeah, I definitely agree with that. There were times throughout the game that they had that going on.
Yeah, and to be clear to everybody, when I say the second sack's on Cam, I think that's what someone else did. I mean, I don't think that there was hardly any protection. They had zone beater, but they decided to play man, and he had no outlet. So like, I do think that
There
may
were
be
times. That's
that
what
may
I'm
be
saying,
counted
yeah.
the coverage sack, really. But I don't know where PFF did. But I know that he had two himself, according to PFF. Just don't know which other one it is, because the first one was on Cam, because that one he did have Chig open. Now Gunner cleared as well, needed to turn his head around, but that's where we're at on that. The first one for 16 yards was definitely on Cam. When we come back, we'll continue talking about Cam. We're also talking about are the Titans playing with nothing to lose or playing not to lose? I think that's a good question based on our conversation in the pregame show, the League Company Countdown to Kickoff on Sunday. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Listen up, Nashville. Dollar Shave Club just sharpened their shaving blades and juiced up their lube strip, all while keeping the price tag the same. To celebrate the best razor ever, they're hitting the road, and they're looking for the best at some parlor games in each city along the way. And they're stopping, yes, by Nashville, Bridgestone Arena Pavilion from 1 to 8 this Saturday. Yes, and guess who will be there? I'll be there from 2 to 4, so come check us out. Bridgestone Arena Pavilion, 2 to 4, and let's see if you've got what it takes to beat me in some toss, kick, throw competition. Top scorer during DSC time in Nashville scores 2 tickets to the Predators home open. So don't be dull, Blade. Show up and show out. Bring the family and test your skills in series of games done but Dollar Shave Club way, including cornhole, which I am the best, football target toss, and soccer darts, and more. All you have to do is just go to www.dsc2025tour.com. dsc2025tour.com.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. And let's go to the phones. Let's go to Mike in my neck of the woods up in Hendersonville. Mike, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Yes. How many times can you hit a receiver in the hands and them not catch it? At least 4, maybe 5.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. There's about 4 or 5 drops I counted. Now, now Orlovsky says 8. I wonder if he was counting that or the Gunnar Helm when he went out of bounds one as a drop. I don't know. Maybe he got a little loose with the term
maybe the
drop.
slant that Sertan got a second there early and knocked it down. I don't know, but yeah, or the ones that were dropped. That was numerous opportunities, though. I don't know how many.
Do you have another question, or was that it, Mike?
That's the question.
All right, thanks. That's a quick and to the point. I like it. Yeah. I thought it was interesting because I saw this stat recently today, and I think this is a little flaky maybe, but unrealized air yards. And they said that Alec Manor left 120. There was 120 air yards left in Alec Manor's direction. And I don't know if one of those is where it was the illegal formation penalty. And because let me tell you something, that was an inaccurate pass all the way down the field.
Talking about that go right, he threw it out of bounds.
Threw it way out of bounds.
I was like,
unnecessary.
That was like Will Levis. I mean, that was, I was like, oh, he
so
had
I don't know
him.
if that counts in his
And he had him. He had him at a couple of steps. I was like, oh my gosh, and it wouldn't have counted, but it still was the point. He missed him.
But that also, again, to your point, would have the defense second guessing some stuff if he would have connected on it, even in an illegal formation.
Because did they decline that penalty because it became then 4th down?
I believe so.
So it did matter because if he would have completed it because he was open, they would have had to take it.
Yep.
And it'd been just 3rd down and long. But I mean, So, see, those little things right there, I was disappointed. And then Alec on the other end missed a slant dead in his hand. And, man, he threw this sidearm pass right through the gap of the defense. And I bet you Alec couldn't see, where he was tracking. He was like, where's the ball? And then he's like, oh, shoot, there it is. Bang. And it hit dead in his hands. I was like, oh, you got to catch that, bro.
I agree with Orlovsky, and I think everybody would. He threw some dimes. That were and listen, I don't. I saw a couple.
His accuracy was off the charts.
I also saw a couple people from ESPN that said that he was throwing it too hard, and that's why his receivers couldn't come down to it. I'm like, dude, you got to catch those balls. That's not a real. That's not real
also,
to me.
The only one I could say is the one on the scene at Ridley.
Yeah.
He put some mustard on that thing, and that was where I was like, just slow it down just a little bit. So it would have gave him time because he reached it, but it barely got his fingertips. But if he wouldn't have put that kind of speed, or let's say if Ridley would have just curved in a little bit and read what he saw and throw it to a spot, he could have got it. But that one there, that was the only one I could say in the entire game that I thought, ooh, that was some heat.
Yeah.
But it's like, look at these windows he's throwing into. Like, he's got to put some mustard on it. You know?
He's got a big.
That's a good point.
He has a pretty high number of tight window throws that he made, and that's good. I mean, you want your rookie to feel comfortable throwing in tight windows because how many rookies just try to avoid that altogether? And think of that. The Alec Manor play where he kind of threw it out of bounds. The Calvin Ridley play.
No, everybody's calling that a hospital ball. Here's what I call that. He catches it, you duck, and the guy hits you in the back. You catch, duck.
Yeah.
Head down. You've done it 50 billion times.
Yeah.
You can't be getting scattered on him. And guess what? Then you're going to get hit in the throat. And guess what? That's a penalty if they do that now.
Yeah. And really, they left probably.
I couldn't wait to hit somebody in the throat.
They really left probably 3 or 4 explosive pass plays on the field. And if, again, this kind of goes back to the whole Callahan, one thing fails, everything can fail around you. But if they had hit those plays, would we be having a different conversation about Brian Callahan's plays? We'd still be criticizing some of his decisions, of course.
Well, they would have won.
But they maybe would have won. And we'd be talking about, okay, the story would be, well, Brian Callahan just doesn't do this in the future. This team could win a lot of games. Because we're going back to your question of how many games do you think that they'll win now after Sunday? And right now, 5 to 6 wins is still where it's at. So really maybe not much, but maybe other plays would have changed that mind to make it 7 or 8 or 9 plus or something like that. So it'll be
Beating the
interesting.
Broncos, who nobody thought that we would be, contended
exactly.
with. Oh man, yeah, people would be saying now A plus.
But yeah, this whole Ridley situation, though, bears watching because we got drops now, missed assignments now. Talking about the screenplay.
Oh no.
But like,
I'm gonna tell you one thing.
Bears
As a
watching.
teammate, if somebody messed up a play we ran multiple times in practice, they didn't have to worry about the coaches chewing them out. I was going to be in their grill. That's something that you can control. There's no way, no how that you don't know what to do on a freaking play.
Oh, and the
I'm
Chimray
sorry.
and the
Now,
Chimray
missing
DK play
assignment is different.
Yeah.
But no, you can't mess up a play. Bro.
Speaking of explosives, the Chimray DK play where he beats his guy, and he's supposed to kind of like curl around and pin it in, and he didn't pin it in. Oh, Cam Ward was
Did you
hot.
see him smacking? Go right there,
He
right
was
there.
hot.
See, that's what I love. I want that guy.
Yep.
He's a competitor, man.
Oh, yeah. When we come back, we'll go to your phone, 615-737-1045. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 1045 The Zone.
Shut your mouth. There are a lot of things Americans split 50-50 on. Politics, working from home versus the office, or coffee versus tea. But there's one thing we all agree on. It's me, Blaine Bishop, and taking your car in for repairs can be complicated. Your repair is only as good as the person under the hood. And most of the problems in fixing your vehicle is knowledge issue, not someone trying to rip you off. A lot of techs are not properly trained, so they end up guessing what to do, and that causes delays in getting your vehicle back or repeat visits for the same freaking issue. Can you imagine? For around a quarter of a century, Eurofix has done things differently. Every visit starts with a free 15-minute no-wrench inspection, so you know what's going on before you start the work. And Eurofix pays its technicians more than any other company does to attract the best and the brightest talent around town. And Eurofix still fixes European vehicles at below dealer pricing with a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all work Eurofix performs. And rental cars are available as well. Located and owned and family owned by everyone in the state of Tennessee. No, not by everyone on Aaron Stokes, but the locations are all over the state, and you know where they're at. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 866-99244 or go to Eurofix.com. That's my Eurofix.com.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. We'll be joined by Coach Mack coming up at 2:20 for his weekly Mack Attack. We'll talk about the game Sunday and the game looking ahead. But first, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Titanomics, who wants to talk about Cam Ward. Titanomics, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
What's up, gentlemen?
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey. So, I'm gonna use Coach Mack's terminology. Keep your powder dry, but I ain't gonna tell you to chill and relax, because I can't really tell you how to feel. But when it comes to Cam and the chemistry, he only has it with Restrepo. If you think about it, I'm not saying we should have kept him on a 53, but what I'm saying is it's going to take time for him to develop with all of our receivers. They say when the bullets are hot, right? Or when the bullets are flying. These are when the bullets are flying. This is the first time the bullets have been flying, and they're not used to the trigger being released by Cam. This dude is another level. But Restrepo didn't have problems catching these balls last year. So we're going to have to have some time for the receivers and Cam to gel when the fire is going in the time of war.
All right, thanks, Titanomics. He's been building chemistry with these receivers. They come in at 5:30 in the morning. I get that, Xavier Restrepo and him have a chemistry that was built through games, but Xavier Restrepo can't get open in the NFL. They kind of just shown that.
Well,
at this point.
I think what the caller's missing is, college chemistry is totally different in the pros, and that's why even the players that he was throwing to, even though they do have somewhat chemistry, is he took it to the next level. They weren't ready to take it to the next level. They are not where he's at. Hey, you need to bend in, and I'm going to throw it with some heat right here. They had never experienced that in a live game. Yep. A live game. By the way, none against Restrepo. I love guys like Restrepo, but he wouldn't even been in the spot. He wouldn't even been in the picture. He's not fast enough. He's not big enough. So Ridley is the fastest guy probably on the team. So I think if he can get to it, and Restrepo is probably the slowest receiver on the team. So then there's that.
Yep, there you go. Let's go to Ryan in Hendersonville. Ryan, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, guys, I love to keep the powder dry. We got to keep doing that. But something that stood out to me, I know it killed Blaine, was when Amani Hooker came on. I think it was a third down on that hit on Cortland Sutton, but didn't wrap up. He had him and then it crushed me, man. I know that killed you, Blaine. I was like, he came up, he licked him. But that's a 6'4", 215-pound receiver. You're not going to be able to knock him down that easy. So, but I think it's just week one, battling through the pains. I know the commentators called out how they're used to tagging everyone in practice. So I think you just decided to get away with it. But got to wrap up.
Got to wrap up.
Yeah, the great call there, man.
For sure.
And that happens a lot in the league, not just the Titans, but guys now just trying to go up and hit a guy. You can knock a guy off kilter, but he can spin out of that when you're not wrapping up, and even though he may not know where he's at.
Right,
he still is up. These guys are super duper athletes. You got to wrap up, man. That was key. Wrap them up and lasso them. Well, you got to lasso. Yeah, you got to teach all them lassos, man. You got to go out there and lasso some horses, man. I was doing it all.
I got a question from someone in the chat, and they would appreciate you to elaborate if you could. But you had talked about the difference between this from Eric Reed and the F&M Bank chat, Twitch or YouTube, Facebook Live. So we take questions from the chat too. If you could please explain the difference between messing up on not knowing a play and missing an assignment. You said they're not the same.
I did say that. Yeah, I did say that. And I was good listening there. Well, when I say messing up is like somebody beat you athletically. Well, you were in the right spot. They just I give a good example is, Randy Moss jumping over my head and catching a one-hand catch on me on the back of the end zone. Well, there's nothing I could have done. I did everything I could. But that wasn't an assignment issue. That was like I just messed up because he was just a better player than me on that play. Right? But an assignment is you control that. You do your job. I did my job. But I can't control that he was a better player than me on that play.
Kind of like missing an assignment.
Missing an assignment is
Cedric Gray on the touchdown run we just watched.
Right. Yeah, missing assignment, getting in the right gap. Not that you missed the tackle.
Right.
You didn't hit the right gap. And that then, hence, Lens, I call that selfish play.
Yeah.
If you do that. Now, some people don't know how to differentiate. It's real easy for me, and I get it. because that was a great question. Because even after I said that, I was wondering if somebody was going to ask me what the difference was. And so that's where I have issues. Because you practice this, and some guys, I call it knuckle chuckling over there. They're up there laughing and giggling when we doing walkthroughs, and coaches just let me just like, hey, what are y'all doing? Do you know where you're supposed to be when they run this right here? No. Okay, then that means you need to be quiet and pay attention. This ain't, grab butt and tell jokes time.
Yeah.
This is serious. We out here on the field now walking through the plays. So, and I wonder who they got as that guy now.
Yeah.
Because every year, when you got different leaders on the team, you just wonder who those guys are. Because that's when it's supposed to be focused. You hit here and you're supposed to have these conversations. The coaches could only design the plays. You got to talk it through with your teammate. Hey, man, I'm going to hit right here and you be on this side of me. That way, and if I take a risk, I used to say this all the time. If you're going to take a risk, do it early, D lineman. Do it early. That way, because I'm coming to my gap where I'm supposed to go.
Yeah.
And I'm coming with a big bullet. And if you in my gap, I'm going to hit you in your ribs. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
So if you want to take a risk, you better tackle him in the backfield, arm over and top, and get back and go. Just go. I'll play off of you. See, these are the little conversations. They got to have them. Got to have them. And I don't know if teams really do that now. I just don't know because you see this all the time, not just the Titans, all over the place.
Right. Let me ask you a question. You had talked about a big theme of what was at the pre-Titans countdown to kickoff, League Company countdown to kickoff was you have nothing to lose.
Yep.
Your team with nothing to lose. Do you feel like that the way that Brian Callahan coached the game, play calling and all that kind of stuff, felt like the defense looked like a team with nothing to lose? It felt like the offense was a team playing not to lose.
Well, okay. How do you view that third down play that Ridley ran the wrong play? Backed up. Just on the call. Not that it worked.
Right.
Did you think that was a good call?
I wouldn't have done that call. But,
I wouldn't either.
But I would. But that was an aggressive call to do.
Right.
So
was he playing not to lose? In his mind. In his mind.
Yeah.
That's not my
because it seems like he wants to play not to lose in the worst possible situations like when he's in the red zone, or and all that. And but when he's back up in his own thing, that's when he wants to get him aggressive. Right. It's like it should be flipped. It feels like.
I agree. So maybe it's his style. I think he thinks I'm gonna keep it in my quarterback's hand, my best player now.
Yeah.
I trust him, and he's gonna win it for us, and he's gonna make the right decisions. I just think he has more confidence in throwing the football more than I think running.
Yeah.
And sometimes it could be a conflict there where what should you do?
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that he has shown through one game that he has more confidence in Cam Moore than he had in Will Levis?
Absolutely.
I think so too.
Absolutely.
I think you saw a little bit of a difference.
So too.
And I think that you saw that with maybe some of the tougher plays he probably called that you normally probably wouldn't call with a rookie, that you maybe expect them to make or be able to do. It feels a lot like a carryover from the offseason program where they're throwing them in the deep end. It's time to swim.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like they did play loose and didn't hold anything back.
Yeah.
Because he was a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, I felt like they called all the different kinds of plays that you could want to see.
So I would say they played to win the majority of the time. Now, every game we're going to go through, and they're going to be a call. That's why it's really hard to man, I wouldn't have called that, but, okay, I don't know what was going through his head. There's going to be a handful of calls we're just not going to like. You're going to like, why did you do that? Well, first of all, there's pressure when you're on the sideline. You're making a split-second decision. Granted, you're getting paid a lot of money to make those calls. So sometimes some of the coaches kind of lose sight of where they're at. Even the great was Sean Payton. Did you see that call he called?
Yeah, there were a couple.
The other guy was wide open.
Sean Payton's shaking. I'm a little worried about his health. I don't know if you noticed.
First of all, that big old Cracker Barrel menu he had over there. I was like, good Lord.
He even had something that folded down from it at one point. It looked like one of those things you pull off and numbers off of, like babysitting.
But he called that play, and guess what? Bo Nix threw to the wrong guy. The other guy crossing the other direction deep was open. I mean, wide open. And I was like, oh, my gosh, I'm glad he threw to the wrong guy. But that was a no-brainer. He shouldn't have called that play. He shouldn't have been out there.
Bo didn't even have time to get to the left because when he's getting out of that play fake, he's turning to his right shoulder. He's already got pressure.
He had pressure.
The guy he's got to throw
That's
it
why he
to.
couldn't see him.
Yeah.
Right.
When Sean Payton did that, I was so confused.
I was like, what is he?
He did have a couple.
Both
Both the Femi pressures where he does a play fake and rolls back out into Femi. Unblocked, by the way, both times.
But watch this. Because Sean Payton, you trust him in what he's done with Breeze in the Super Bowl, that was okay. That was a boneheaded call, in my opinion.
Both of them were.
If I'm sitting up here and I'm known, I'm like, hey, man, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But like that fourth down, you're kind of sitting there in the moment. You're kind of sitting there in the moment thinking, all right, they're either going to try to take a field goal to just completely ice it or just punt it, pin us inside the 10 and make us drive.
It's a defensive game, so yeah, you win.
He did that. I was like, what are they doing?
I was stunned. Like, this is why I don't want to ever call games. This is exactly it, because I would have sat up there, what is Sean Payton doing?
Yeah.
Why is he doing? I don't care if the play would have worked or not. It was high risk, and you trying to win the game. No, he was trying to close it.
Yeah.
That's what some people would say.
Yep.
Well, I would like, no, I'm going to pin him down. I'm going to put it on our defense because I believe in our defense. This is a no-brainer.
Well, when we come back, we'll be joined by Coach Mack for his weekly Mack Attack, brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, South's most trusted Ford dealer. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Parents, when your teen athlete gets injured, every practice miss matters. So don't let an injury sideline you for the season and guess what? Your dreams. Introducing the Edge Athlete Recovery Program, a 2-month, twice daily bilingual peptide protocol designed to help your athlete heal faster, recover stronger, and get back on the field safely. Our science-backed peptides, BPC 157 and TB 500 support muscle, tendon, and ligament repair with no needles, no downtime, and no hassle. Safe for teens, non-GMO, gluten-free, and easy to take at home. Optional add-ons include M-Sculpt, functional sessions, and regenerative orthopedic treatments to accelerate recovery even more. So don't wait. Give your athlete the best shot at a full return to the sport. And call Edge Peptide Therapy at 615-724-1878 or visit edgepeptide.com to schedule an office consultation today. That's Edge Peptide Therapy. They know every game, every practice, and every dream matters. Listen up, Nashville. Dollar Shave Club just sharpened their blades and juiced up their lube stripe, all while keeping the price tag the same. To celebrate their best razor ever, they're hitting the road and they are looking for the best at some parlor games in each city along the way. They'll be at Bridgestone Arena Pavilion from 1 to 8 p.m. this Saturday. And you can find me, of course, there. Yeah, me, Blaine Bishop, there from 2 to 4 this Saturday. And let's see if you got what it takes to beat me in some toss, kick, or throw competition. Top scorer during DSC time in Nashville scores 2 tickets to the Predators home opener. And don't be dull, be with a dull blade. Show up and show out. So bring the family to test your skills in a series of games done with Dollar Shave Club way, including cornhole, football target toss, and soccer darts. And you know I'm the king of that and more. And all you have to do is just go to DSC2025tour.com. That's DSC2025tour.com.
You know what that music means. It's 2:20 p.m. on a Tuesday. It's time for our weekly Mack Attack with Coach Mack, brought to you by Tours Ford, South's most trusted Ford dealer. And, Coach, it was not the outcome that anybody really wanted, but what's the messaging from the head coach and the staff to the players in a situation like this where you're coming out of a game that was in your grasp and you play a tough physical game where you leave it all on the field and just fall short?
Too many missed opportunities. I mean, National Football League games are made up of moments in game. It's not just from beginning to end. It's certain moments within the game where you either have a chance to grab it and make it work in your favor, or if you don't take advantage of those moments, then there's no telling what's going to happen the next play. And so they had some moments in that ball game where they had a chance to turn it in their favor, and they just didn't do it.
Fans are quick to point to the coach when a player lines up incorrectly or messes up his assignments, but is this just a situation where you tell your kid not to touch a hot stove top, but they do it anyways? What's a coach to do, and what are they responsible for when a player lines up wrong or misses an assignment?
Well, there's a difference. And look, if you get beat physically, there's not a coach in the world that's going to get mad, because that happens. I mean, you're playing good people, and you're a good player, but sometimes you're just going to get beat physically. That happens within the contest. But if you get beat mentally, you've got only one person to blame for that, and that's yourself.
When it comes down to the touchdown run by J.K. Dobbins, that kind of felt like the nail in the coffin because it was just a game where the momentum felt like it shifted completely. What did you see on that touchdown run from the Titans defense and where they may need to fix things for coming up against the L.A. Rams?
Well, they played that same run. Really, Sean runs basic runs. He really does. He runs two-back power O. He runs two-back lead strong and lead weak. I mean, he's pretty old school with the way that he runs. They've stopped that run several times before, but you get squeezed out of a gap, and then all of a sudden the second level doesn't feel quite correctly, and then all of a sudden you got one that breaks. That's why playing run defense is an every down event. an every down event. You can play a great run defense for 25 snaps, and you get out of your gap, or you get double gapped on one play that they break for a long one. That's going to make you feel really bad for the rest of the day, and that's what happened there.
We're on the phone with Coach Mack for his weekly Mack Tech, brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Well, Coach, first start with how was the atmosphere? And I don't feel like it affected, watching TV affected Cam, let's speak offensively. Do you think it was still loud, though, and they did a good job?
It was really loud. Blaine, you played a long time. I've coached a long time. That's the way it's supposed to be in an NFL game, especially on the road. I mean, you're very well aware that that's going to happen. You got certain stadiums, though. I mean, what was that? Their 300th consecutive sellout or something. I mean, they take it very seriously there. So it was loud, but noise in the National Football League is really no excuse for not being able to operate. I mean, you know that going in there. You prepared for that. And so that has to be something that, there's no excuses really in the National Football League. But you asked me, was it loud? It was loud as hell.
Are you right there by the fans? Did some of them turn around and say hi to you through the window, or wasn't possible?
Yeah. I could reach out and pat them on the head, because they come all the way up to the bottom of the broadcast booth. Absolutely.
Oh, did you push them back like Lamar Jackson?
No, but look, here's the thing. I don't touch them. I may antagonize them some. I don't touch them.
Oh, okay. Got you, Coach. Now, all seriousness aside, what did you think your observations of Cam Ward and his first NFL start?
Well, first of all, I thought he was very accurate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had some drops. I mean, he's very accurate. Look, the guy throws missiles. He really does. Now, there are some things he's got to learn, and I'm sure. I mean, he's been told a lot, but you just don't know till you get into a ball game. You can attest to this, Blaine. The speed of the game when you're playing for real, and especially against a defense like that. And most defenses can run. I mean, if you can't run, you're not going to be playing defense in the National Football League anyway. But you got to understand that when that thing starts to tsunami on you, starts to come over, come right up on top of the beach, on top of you like a giant wave, you're not going to be able to escape out the back of it and outrun anybody. You're not. I mean, the only person there's two people that I've coached against that could escape out of the back and still get away. I mean, but really, you're not going to outrun defensive players. Mm-hmm. You're just not, especially laterally when that happens. So he's got to learn from that, and he's also, got to understand that sometimes it's throw the thing away and live for another down, especially when you're put into a situation, and we talked about it on this show last week going in. The thing you've got to avoid against a defense like that, because that's what they do, is they get you to third and double digits. They're coming after you. I mean, that's on the way. As I said, Randall Cunningham and Michael Vick are the only two quarterbacks I've ever coached against that could run out the back of it and outrun Angle.
No doubt about it. Well, with Coach Mack giving us the Mack Attack. Guess a couple more questions here, Coach, and that is, I don't know if it's because we're a small market or because I'm sitting in a chair now, kind of more of an observer than an actual player, but I just feel like we always get the bad end of the stick with the referees and calls. Like, I don't know if that's just me being biased. I'm trying not to be, but man, I feel like we never, with the Brownlee, all the calls, I know the player has to adjust to the way they're calling the play, but I don't feel like they did the same thing on the other side there with Denver, with their secondary when they were holding people. Surtain was one of them, actually.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, the one thing about it is, and as a player, you went through it too. You can talk yourself until you're blue in the face with those officials. They're not going to listen to that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Once they throw those, especially those subjective calls like that, you just got to go on to the next play. It upsets me too, because look, you're trying to play an aggressive defense, and the game is tilted towards the offense anyway in those one-on-one situations like that, because that's what the league wants. They want scoring, and so I mean that's why pass interference downfield is the most punitive flag in any sport. The most punitive. I mean, you can get a subjective call and give up 50 yards because of the call. That's rough.
I know it's early, Coach. We get you on Tuesdays, but early observation. I know you always get a little bit of a gauge on the Rams' next opponent, who the Titans play offensively, defensively, or even special teams. Any early observations that we need to be aware about?
Yeah, well, the quarterback's legit. You can't let him get hot. The guy last week, and then he's been doing it ever since he's been drafted there, was Puka Nacua. You're going to have to cover him because they do a lot of things to get him open. It's not just takeoffs either. They scheme him open, hit him underneath. He's a really, really strong at the catch point. He's a strong runner, so you got to take care of Puka Nacua. The other thing that you've got to be able to do, they've got a good defense, and then defensively, I mean, I'm not sure they've got the overall team speed that the Titans just faced up there in Denver, because that's a very, very fast defense at all levels up there at Denver. But that, don't get it twisted that they're only an offensive football team, because defensively they're pretty solid.
Yeah, I know their front is pretty big. I know they have that guy. Do they have Verse, right? Is he there?
Yeah, they're good. They're good. When you start looking at it, I mean, here's the other things they're good at. They're really good at fitting off of each other at all three different levels. And anytime I study tape, the first thing that I look at is to see how good they're fitting off of each other. You know what I'm saying? Uh-huh. Because that's important, as you well know.
No doubt about it. Well, with Coach Mack giving us the Mack attack.
Denard Wilson, I thought, came in with an excellent game plan and some new looks as far as the formations before the snap of the ball. He sent DB as blitzers, dropping people into coverage. What were some of the differences you saw this past weekend compared to last season?
Well, I mean, he's doing some of the same thing. Denard has got a really veteran staff with him. Denard has always been very good, even as an assistant coach, at being able to break down opponents and being able to see how matchups are going to go for a defense. He's always been really good at that. Some of the things that he was doing, I mean, it's all in his repertoire. I mean, he didn't show. I mean, he showed a lot during training camp when they were trying to, bring the heat on the young quarterback. But still, I mean, the thing that he does, though, he does a really good job, along with his assistant coaches, of game planning situational football according to what the opponent is doing, personnel-wise, split-wise, and field position-wise, too. That's what he's always been very, very good at. I thought they did a really nice job, except for the fourth quarter where they let those two runs out.
What did you think of the offensive line's performance versus this Denver front? Because, I mean, they did a lot of one-on-one attacking against this offensive line. How well do you think they fared?
Well, look, they put 5 up. You've got to win. They weren't winning enough. And then, once J.C. Latham went out, they had some issues. I thought the center guard triangle played very, very well. I think that both tackles can play better.
Let me ask you this. Obviously a lot was made about the non-challenge on the Eligai Manor catch with the elbow. But kind of take us through, you got only, 30-something seconds to make a decision, and you got a lot of voices in your head while trying to call a play. Kind of take us through those moments and how a head coach needs to cut through the noise to make sure he's making the right decisions.
First of all, there should be no noise. There should only be one person talking. I mean, that's the way that it works. Everywhere I've ever been, whether I've been the head coach on the field, whether I've been the guy in the booth, that's a misnomer. There's not a lot of noise on the headsets. There's just not. And you got switches where you can turn it off and on. And again, I mean, that whole body part thing. I mean, I was on a game called at Baltimore with the butt cheek catch by Jonnu Smith, so I was aware of that.
Yeah. When it comes to L'Jarius Sneed, he was obviously on a pitch count, but the snaps that he played in, how did you feel that he looked?
I thought he was decent. I mean, I know that I think that he'll get better as he gets game legs stronger. in there, but I thought he did a decent job while he was in there. You didn't just see anybody. You really didn't see anybody in the secondary just getting torched up at all.
That's true. That's true. What about your review of the inside linebackers with Cody Barton and Cedric Gray manning the helm for most of the game? Did you see a lot from them that kind of carried over from the preseason?
Yeah, they were solid. I mean, look, that defense was really playing solid. Solid defense. They were doing a really good job. They were doing a good job of getting that offense off the field. They had that quarterback completely discombobulated. Denard had him really zeroed in when they were trying to run those naked boots, because that's something Sean really wants to do. I mean, he put Femi in some great spots, and Femi's a smart player as a rookie. I mean, he understood what was happening with that, took the great angle, step up in there, did not get sucked down inside, didn't take the cheese like a big old rat and run down in there and let it come outside of him. I mean, I thought they really did a good job of being able to zero in on what they were doing.
Well, we're on with Coach Mack for his weekly Mack Attack, brought to you by Tourist Ford, South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Well, Coach, I'm just wondering, any key matchups you're looking forward to watching? I'm looking at Verse and Fisk, and I'm like, man, let alone the receiver there, Nakua. But, anyone you say, man, if you're going to tune in, you should watch these two guys.
Well, they have guys on the edge that can rush. Yeah. I mean, that really helped them a lot. That helped them a lot last year. I'm talking about the Rams. Puka Nakua has been nothing but a dude ever since he came into the league. You're going to have to take care of him, Blaine.
Dang, man. I heard he got nicked up. Is that true? Do we know? I'm hoping he don't play.
No idea. I could call out there, but they may not tell me.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I didn't know if you still had some connects there with the Rams, man. I know you used to be coaching there.
I got a lot of connections, but that doesn't mean they'll tell me that.
Is that Carnell Lake's son that starts at safety? Do you know?
I don't think so.
Oh, I would. That's too coincidental. He went to UCLA too.
Well, if it's UCLA and it's a lake, it's probably related somehow.
I don't know. I'm going to have to look it up, though. I didn't know if you knew. All righty. Yeah, a lot of people forget about Carnell Lake was a real good player, man.
Carnell Lake was as
he
smart
played safety
as safety as there was.
Mm-hmm.
Really smart. Yeah. I saw another good safety in the press box this week.
Atwater?
Yes. I mean, you talk about a hammer.
Oh, boy. He brought the hammer and the nail. Gotcha, Coach.
He looked like he could still do it.
Yeah. All right, Coach Mack. Thanks for hopping on with us, and enjoy preparing for the LA Rams this weekend.
Guys, appreciate both of you. See you.
All right, see ya. That was Coach Mack here for his weekly Mack Attack, brought to you by Tourist Ford, South's most trusted Ford dealer. And when we come back, we'll wrap up talking about the Tennessee Titans, maybe hear from some of the coordinators and what they had to say. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Let's talk insurance. King and Associates Insurance. They're independent agents, and that's a big difference. But it goes beyond just having multiple companies to shop. Weeding out the non-competitive companies, keeping great relationships with the biggest and best, along with bundling. But unfortunately, life happens, and they get it. Here's a true story about my friend and co-worker that switched from a previous independent agent, got better coverage on his home and its contents, even his automobiles, flawless communication, and true champion in his corner after his 16-year-old daughter's accident, and they saved them thousands. And thousands from an independent agent who was overcharging him for years. Do you know if you get an overcharge, you can make the switch and save and do the same. But don't make the switch because he did. Switch because you should. As a business, family, or individual, make the switch to King and Associates Insurance. I'm sure you could go for some extra moolah in the pocket. That's what they will save you. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 615-321-8121. That's 321-8121 or tkinginsurance.com.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. Let's go to Trent in Nashville because last call for phone calls. Trent, you're on Blaine and Zach.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, Hitman, I just want to say real quick, you, Eddie George, and Steve McNair, are the main reasons why I became a Titans fan as a young kid. I was born and raised in Nashville. But I got 2 quick questions for you. So, with the defense this year, do you think our defense is going to be better than last year's defense? And second question I have is I played football from Pee Wee all the way up to high school, and I just started coaching the Pee Wee football. And so I would like to ask you some advice, being that you are a legendary pro. So I have a couple of kids on my team that, like, when they get ready to do open field tackles, they'll shoot out like a rocket. But as soon as they get to making that contact, they hesitate, or they don't want to lower the shoulder. They just want to stand up and grab them. If you could give me some advice on that, I'd really appreciate it, man. I just started coaching, and I want to give these kids the best opportunity to succeed. I appreciate it. Love your show. Thanks so much.
No, I don't know if I have the answer there. Oh, he's tackling football?
Yeah.
Oh, I would just say keep your head up for sure. I mean, he said they try to shoot. Keep your head up and try to teach them to wrap instead of grabbing. I think that'll help out a lot. But don't go for the fakes. Just keep running. If they fake you and you keep running, let them go. Don't stop and try to mirror fakes. It's not going to happen.
There you go.
What was the question for the Titans? Something about defense.
Well, I think that's led into it. Or it was, do you think this defense will be as better than
last year? Ooh. That is a tough question to answer with only one game played.
Because they had a great opener last year.
Yeah, they did against the Bears. So I would assume.
I don't think it will be worse than last year's. Well, technically, based on our thoughts on the defense.
Right. I think they don't have better pieces because they naturally still don't have a pass rusher, an elite pass rusher.
There was a lot of missed sacks, I feel, left on the field when I was going through the Femi tape, not from Femi, but from other players, where it's like, man, if only they had NFL players on this defense.
What did they finish? Do we know? What did they finish?
One sack.
No, I mean, as far as their ranking in the defense.
I mean, if you want to use yards, it was like 17th.
Okay, 17th.
Something like that.
I think they'll be 15th. I think this unit, even though they don't have an elite pass rusher and probably, you would say, better talent, I think this group is going to play better as a group because the offense is going to help them not be on the field as much because Cam Ward's on the quarterback.
And also, it all really depends on L'Jarius Sneed, too. His health.
And I'm banking that he acted as though he wanted to play a little bit more, so we'll see. And that's what we're going to lead to.
Yep.
With your man Denard Walker.
Because let's first start with Denard Wilson on if Jarvis Brownlee Jr.'s aggressive play style caused him penalties.
I want him to play with the tenacity that he plays with, and I want him to play hard, but the penalties must stop. At the end of the day, we have to clean it up. And I've been raised with the thought if you allow it to happen, it's not good. So we've addressed it. We're gonna keep working on him getting his hands down at the top of the route, not grabbing, okay, and then understanding when is the point to take your hands off of receivers, right? At the beginning of the stage, yes, be violent with your hands, move your feet, but as they start to go in the move area, we got to drop our hands. So it will be addressed. We will do things throughout the course of the week to correct it. But the penalties aren't acceptable. And obviously it hurt us in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think he echoed your sentiment correctly. And I think that I do wonder, though, the way that he was kind of blunt about it, and we had our discussions, you hope that Jarvis Brownlee Jr. doesn't become less aggressive because of it.
No, when first of all, here's how I would operate. I'm going to the cornerbacks coach and say, hey, man, we got to stop all this. So I'm going to let him go address him because he's the one working with them on a daily basis. Hey, and while we're out on the field, then I'm coming around like, hey, man, we're working on keeping our hands off, right? That now it's a passing and it's not a big deal, but we are addressing it. And then eventually the player has to do something about it. Yeah, he can go all this coaching you want to. They can look great in practice, but he's got to stop being so, I'm going to say, touchy-feely. I don't think that's the same as being aggressive I don't want to take his aggressive nature away from him, but when you get downfield, you got to be a mirror, not a grabber. A mirror.
Yeah.
See, you mirror. We just going to ride. We're going to run here, act as though you're the receiver and run with him and then try to make a play on the ball.
Let's hear from L'Jarius Sneed because this is a 2-minute clip on L'Jarius Sneed's limited pitch count.
Obviously, it was an organizational decision. Sometimes, as players, you got to protect them first. But he went out there. He had a certain amount of plays. From the organization, we said that was how much he was going to play, and he came out. It'll change week to week, okay? But you know how soft tissue injuries happen. Not having a lot of time on task and callousing your body to be out there to play those extensive plays. And as an organization, if he goes out there and get hurt, you don't want that to happen either from a soft tissue standpoint. So we were all in on it, and we'll move forward from it.
Did those 18 or 19 plays he had, did that show you some promise that you can expand his workload?
Well, I just see this. In those 18 to 20 plays, he was playing his tail off, okay? He was effective. First play on that pass that he had on the sideline, he knocked the ball out. Obviously they wasn't in the field of play, but you see the violence. He had a PBU. He moved well. He was quick. He was in position. So, I'm excited about where he's going, and we'll see what happens this week.
Do you wish you would save some of those reps for the second half, or does that risk him getting stiff on the sidelines and not being able to stay in a flow?
Well, the thing that happened is it's fluid, right? When you say you want a player to play so much, it becomes fluid. He was out there with his extended drive, and one thing that I've always been taught is, when people tell me to do something, upper management or whether the coaches or whoever, you follow the rules. And, we had a plan and we executed the plan, and then we'll have a plan this week. And it's our job to execute the plan. And we'll see where it goes this week.
Thoughts on that?
Well, you got to respect. It seems as though they were all on the same accord. Maybe just, Sneed didn't know because he felt really good. Maybe he wanted more, but they had made a decision that, hey, and he said soft tissue, right?
Yeah, and I guess, assuming that has something to do with the hamstring.
Oh, so I didn't know.
I don't know. I really don't want to focus
whether I
anymore
disagree
on
with it or not is another story, but I got to respect what he said there. Yeah,
right.
He was very decisive, and they had a plan, and they moved on, and they stuck with it. So they didn't want to play me. Maybe he wanted to play. Protect the player from himself. That is a true statement because, man, I definitely didn't care if I was trying to break somebody's leg.
But why aren't you using him in more situational periods? Like after the 3-and-out on our own 5 and the punt, their little 2-minute drill, why is he not in the game? Is Daryl Baker allowed to give up an out and up for a score? Why isn't Sneed out there?
I think it's hard. He didn't play at all in the second half, right? So now you're going to play a guy that's coming off a knee.
But that was the end of the first half.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Well, maybe that was rested. I don't know. Maybe they just said he should only play 20 plays. I don't know. But I'm with you. I wanted to see more, and they had their plan, and you got to respect their plan. It's like a guy having a hamstring at practice, and you go, he can only do so many plays. If not, he's reached his limit. He's going to start, breaking down. So that's what they did. So hopefully we'll see a little bit more this week.
Poll results real quick.
Yes, Blaine's poll got over 500 votes. 21% said 0 to 3 wins. 57% said 4 to 5 wins. 18% said 6 to 7, and 4% said 8+.
Oh, so 4 to 5 won.
There you go. There you go. All right, 3HL's up next. Are live from Fozzie's in Cool Springs. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here at 105 The Zone. And in the meantime.
And in between time.
Peace.